context of, I guess, the title race, or at least that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a big game coming into this one, and I've just seen Arsenal's lineup, and it's thrown me a little bit. I've got to be honest with you, it's thrown me, because I'm looking at it now and thinking, well, are Arsenal really taking this game seriously? I don't know if they are. They've dropped. If you've not seen it yet, we'll go through the lineups now. We'll go through them, but I've got to tell you, it's quite unnerving that Arsenal are clearly prioritising the Champions League against Real Madrid, because they have dropped Saka, they've dropped Martinelli, they've dropped Odegaard, they've dropped Partey, they've dropped Timber. So quite clearly, Mikel Arteta has decided that the Premier League title is done, and there's no point even trying for that. Is that acceptable to Arsenal fans? Is that something that they really should be? I don't know. To me, that just seems odd. It seems like an odd thing that an Arsenal manager would do. I've got to say, I'm really surprised. I'm really, really surprised that an Arsenal manager would, even at this stage in the season, even 12 points behind, would take this approach when they've still got to go to Anfield. They've still got to play Liverpool, by the way. So a win at Anfield could get that down to 9 points. I mean, I've got to look at it and say, I'm just really surprised. I mean, I'm made up as a Liverpool fan, delighted. I'm delighted. That's the title wrapped up. Arsenal aren't even trying anymore. They've put Raheem Sterling at right wing. Okay? Put Raheem Sterling at right wing. They've got Raya in net, Kiwior, Saliba, Ben White, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. In midfield, they've gone Rice, Jorginho, and I'm guessing Marino, maybe. Maybe Wanyuri at the tip of a 10. I'm not quite sure. And then they've got Trossard, Sterling, and either Marino or Wanyuri up front. I'm not entirely sure how they're going, how those front four are going to line up. I guess they could rotate quite a bit. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see exactly what the approach from Arsenal is. I mean, yeah, I'm really not sure what they're going to do here. But, I mean, look, if Everton can get a point or even a win, then fantastic. I guess that fully knocks Arsenal out of the title race, and I'm pretty sure they'll go out of the Champions League, whatever side they put out here. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm just going to catch up with the chat now. But let me know what you think in the comments, because I think it's a very, very big lineup from Mikel Arteta, in the sense that we're finally seeing that he's decided the Premier League, the race is run. The title is done. There is no more need for them to fight as far as the Premier League season is done. And okay, well, there you go. The title's over. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking, because it's a really, really surprising one. A really, really surprising one. Rubes, how you doing? Looking forward to Brighton and Palace this afternoon. I'm not entirely sure what live we're going to go with at 3 o'clock yet. I need to have a chat with everyone in there to see what everyone... Let me know in the chat what you're thinking. Do I need to be going for West Ham and Bournemouth? Should we go for Palace and Brighton? Or should we go for Ipswich and Wolves at 3 o'clock? I think Ipswich and Wolves is maybe the one to go for, Because if Ipswich beat Wolves, the gap is down to 6 points. 6 points with 8 games left. 7 games left, is it? And with 6 points to go, I think that's still maybe doable for Ipswich. It'd be some run, some finish to turn it round at this point, but Ipswich would need to win today. This is a must-win game for Ipswich. So I'm thinking Ipswich against Wolves is the one at 3 o'clock. But I could be swayed. I'm happy to be swayed. If people feel strongly in the chat that we should do Palace against Brighton, it's a derby. That's a big one for Brighton as well in terms of European qualification. Likewise with West Ham and Bournemouth. Should Bournemouth, they need to get back on track. They've had a rough few weeks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the 3 o'clocks as well. Obviously, the 5:30 tonight, Aston Villa and Forest, that's going to be massive. Both teams really going big for Europe. Both teams in the last four of the FA Cup as well. Both teams having really good seasons. So the R5 is going to be massive. I'll definitely be live for that one. The 3 o'clocks, we'll decide which of the three we go with on that one. I'll let you in the chat tell me which one you think that should be. And obviously now we've got Everton against Arsenal. And the biggest news in this game is already broke before kickoff, in that Mikel Arteta has decided the game's done. The race is over as far as the Premier League title is concerned. He isn't even going to try anymore. He has dropped Saka, Timber, Odegaard, Partey. You know, he's dropped some really, really big names ready for that Real Madrid clash in midweek. So, Ethan, how are you doing? Yeah, good to see you. It's good to see you, Rubes. He's prioritising Champions League, Kane. Yeah, absolutely. Will Sings, yes, mate, is on Sky. It's not. It's on TNT. It's on TNT, or you can get it on Discovery, I think. Harry, which is smart. So, you think it's smart that he's dropping out? Listen, I didn't say it wasn't smart. I've not really got an opinion on whether it's smart or not. I guess time will tell, won't it? Because look, Arsenal are overwhelmingly second favourites in that Real Madrid tie. So for him to do that, I'm not quite sure it is smart, actually. No, I disagree with you. Because if he goes and puts out this team now against Everton, and maybe they drop points, maybe they get a draw, right? Maybe they get a draw here at Goodison Park. Tough place to come. They get a draw. And then they go out in the Champions League. Maybe they get a bad result in midweek, and that renders the second leg pretty much obsolete. Then the last 7 games of the season for Arsenal are pointless. They're going to give Liverpool a guard of honour at Anfield, and the Arsenal fans will know and have to accept that their manager chucked the towel in with 20% of the season to run. 20% of the season to run, he's chucking the towel in. And he's still got to come to Anfield and get it. Listen, we've seen this turnover of points before. We've seen it. We've seen teams throw it away, and I don't know. I guess I would have thought that a manager that proclaims to be one of the best in the world, that Arsenal fans believe this is one of the best teams in the world. The race ain't over till it's over. You keep fighting till the end. Every point you've got to fight for. That's how title races are won. And look, I would have thought they would have put the pressure on Liverpool right to the very end, but this is him throwing the towel in. This is Mikel Arteta throwing the towel in. There's absolutely nothing else left to say on that one. Someone's saying the sound's gone. Let me just see if it's right. Is the sound gone? I'm just going to see if I can hear. No, it sounds fine, mate. Sounds fine. Hey, Prem Dad, you okay? I'm good, Edward. How are you doing, mate? Good to have you here. Beto will be looking at Kivihall like a snack. Beto played well in midweek. Yeah, Beto will have a real go at Arsenal today. Kuram, the bottle job. Yeah. I think it is a bottle from Arsenal. It is. He's throwing the towel in. I'm really surprised at that lineup. Finn4447, toffee time, baby. Well, listen, I'm a Liverpool fan, mate, but I'm going to be cheering for the Blues in this one. Obviously, if you can get a win or even a point, I think... I mean, look, I think psychologically, he has thrown the towel in with that lineup. He has thrown the towel in. I am gobsmacked with that lineup. It's baffling. You've got to fight till the very end. There's 20% of the season to run. What are you doing? What are you doing? You've got to keep fighting. You've got to put the pressure on Liverpool. If they go out against Real Madrid, he's thrown it. He's absolutely thrown it. It's madness. Kickoff is at 12:30, so 4 minutes away from kickoff. Von226. Harry, I don't think it is. He's looking after them for the Real Madrid game. We'll still win this game easy. Well, look, if you do, if you win the game easy, and then you go through against Real Madrid, absolutely fine. Then look, you know, you've proved the point, and he's done the right thing. But ultimately, if you drop points here, and then you don't win the Champions League, I mean, to me, it's just a risk. It's an unnecessary risk, I think. I can understand him wanting to protect players, but I think you do that once the job's done. I think you start your best in a tough game away at Goodison, and then you take them off around the hour mark, or you leave them on the bench and you bring them on if you need to. But that's such a heavily rotated Arsenal team. I don't fancy him today. I really don't fancy him today. I think Everton gets something here. Jordy, think my phone's playing up, mate. Sorry. Thoughts for the game for Arsenal today? Oh, don't worry about it, mate. It's all good. It happens. But it is a tough game. Yeah, sorry, it is a tough game for Arsenal. Nath, clueless. He's resting players for the Madrid game. No, I understand he's resting players for the Madrid game. But surely that's a risk. Because Arsenal are by no means... I mean, look, I don't even think they've got a chance with Madrid with their full-strength team. With Saliba, with Gabriel, with Havertz, with the full-strength Arsenal crew. I think they get beat at Real Madrid. With all those players out, I think they get beat comfortably as well. So, I just think this is an unnecessary risk, and I still can't believe that a team that professes to be as big as Arsenal, as good as Arsenal, as bold and as brave as Mikel Arteta would take this approach. I think it's laughable. And I think he's taking the mick out of Arsenal fans a little bit. Put it this way, there's absolutely no way at all that a Liverpool manager would do this. Absolutely no way. I am guaranteeing you, there's absolutely no way that a Liverpool manager would do this. Not a chance. Harry, it's basically the same lineup we've had for half the season. Well, it's not, Harry, come on. It's not. You've dropped Saka. I mean, Saka's fit. Maybe look, let's say he's not. Let's say he's still resting Saka. Odegaard's fine. Timber's fine. Partey's fine. There's quite a few in that team that he should be playing, and he isn't. So it's quite clearly a rotation. Kuram. Bradford City v Crew Alexandra. Hope Bradford win. I've got quite a few of the lower league games on today. I've got them all live on my flash scores, apart from this one for obvious reasons. I hate when people do that. But I've got all of the games live on flash, so as soon as they pop up, I'll let people know. If you want to be involved, if you want to hear the other games going on, I will tell you the scores as they go in live. And obviously we'll be watching the Everton Arsenal game. Yeah, mate, so then later on they get tossed around from Real. They'll get tossed around from Real no matter what, Robert. 1-1. I think that's fair enough, yeah. I think that's fair enough. I'd probably go 1-1. I don't think it's going to be a game... Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be a great game for the purists. I mean, a lot of these games in the Premier League recently have been quite dull, quite boring, haven't they? And I think we're seeing a lot of that now. So, yeah, I think it's going to be... Pass. A lot of Arsenal percentage possession. And Everton sitting deep, trying to hit on the counter, playing for set pieces. It'll probably be 0-0 for a large part of the game. And then maybe one or two teams, I don't know, pinch a goal, we'll see. I think it's going to be low scoring. I would be amazed if there's more than 2 goals in this game. Let me say that. But watch it be 2-0 to Arsenal, or 1-1 or 2-2 in the first 20 minutes. It's always like that when I say it. But hey, listen, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Geordie, as soon as I saw the lineup, I slapped a tenner on Everton to win. It's not a bad shout at all. Saka not playing will definitely help Everton. Yeah, absolutely right. Callum the Red, Everton are winning this. You're right, mate. I don't like cheering for Everton, but I think I might have to here. Of course, because I have no other competition to play. 2-1 EFC, says Callum. I know maybe you don't want your players tired when they go up against Madrid. What time's kickoff? Kickoff is it's now. Kickoff is now. In fact, I need to get my live clock going because they're off. They're off and running. They've just took the knee and they're off. There isn't going to be 2 goals in this. Nah, I don't think so either. FM no casuals, I don't think so either, mate. I would be amazed if there's 2 goals. I think it's got 0-0 written all over it. Maybe 1-0 either side. But we shall see. We are off and the game's up and running. And yeah, let's see. Let's see how we get on. And as I say, if you're sticking around with me for today, as I say, this is a big, big day of football. I'm going to be doing the 3 o'clocks. We have to decide, if you're in the chat, if you're going to be sticking around with me, we have to decide what 3 o'clock games we're going to go with. Are we going to go with Ipswich against Wolves? Are we going to go with West Ham against Bournemouth? Or are we going to stick with Palace against Brighton? We can only watch one of them. We'll keep you updated on the other two. But we've got to keep an eye out for... or we've got to make a decision on which one of those 3 that we stick with. Ball into the box from Everton, cleared away by Arsenal. Yeah. And then obviously the big 5:30, the Villa against Forest, which miraculously, I mean, again, I don't know if you like a bet, if you do betting or whatever. Oh no! Oh, Arsenal, it was Jordan Pickford just had an absolute shocker there. What's he done? He's just given away, no pressure, chance. Oh, should be 1-0. Should be 1-0 to Arsenal. Oh, Everton. Oh, Everton. Goodness me. Jordan Pickford, little arms, has just had an absolute shocker there. He tries to pass it out and he somehow just kicks fresh air. It's actually a good block from Irabunum. I think, is it Sterling that has the shot? Yeah, Sterling with the shot on or around the penalty spot. He should really hit the target, but it's a good block from Irabunum. And Everton live to fight another day. It's 0-0 still, but bad start from Everton. Tottenham game the other day was same as always. Yeah, I agree with that. Hotspur Army. How are you feeling about Ange, by the way? Because I've got to say, look, as a Liverpool fan, I like Ange. I really like Ange. I know he's not necessarily getting the best results, but I actually quite enjoy how he deals with the media. I think what he said in the last few days, a lot of common sense. I quite like it. I like the approach of him saying and calling the refs out and saying, look, if it's clear and obvious, why is it taking 6 minutes for a referee to look at a screen and multiple angles and replays? If it's that long, then it can't be clear and obvious. It really should be. There should probably be a cap on how long you get as a referee to go and look at it. And if you haven't decided at that point, then you haven't decided. It stays with the original decision. Callum Sterling would have scored there. Well, it was Sterling, wasn't it? It was Sterling with the shot. I'm sure that was Sterling. Hotspur Army, West Ham v Bournemouth will be good. I think the issue at the minute is West Ham, games involving West Ham. Because Graham Potter took over a side, West Ham had the 3rd worst defence in the league, I think, when he joined. I could be wrong in that. When he joined, it was 3rd or 4th. It was definitely one of the worst in the league. And they were conceding on average about 3 to 5 goals a game, I think, in the previous 10 games. They'd just conceded 5 against City, 5 against Liverpool, and they'd done 3 and 4s in previous games around that. So the first thing that Graham Potter did when he came in was just, tighten it up at the back. We changed system, and he has made every West Ham game since then relatively dour. There's been the odd anomaly, like I think the Fulham game was 3-2, but most others have been like 1-0 here and there, 2-1 maybe, but generally low scoring games. Limited chances, obviously the 1-0 at Arsenal. They've learned how to defend deep, and that's my only concern with the West Ham Bournemouth game, because Bournemouth haven't been very good recently. Bournemouth have been all over the place, and West Ham went to Wolves in midweek and got beat 1-0, again, low scoring. So I get the feeling that West Ham Bournemouth isn't going to be a great game to watch. I'm hoping Bournemouth win, but I get the feeling it's not going to be a good game to watch. For anyone who's watching the Championship or keeping an eye on the Championship, Coventry have just gone a goal up against Burnley. That's a big one in the Championship early doors. I guess at this stage we want Everton to win. Yeah, we do. I want Everton to win. I'm sure there's Arsenal fans in the chat who don't. Patterson looks very rusty here. Everton are dying for a couple of fullbacks, aren't they? They really are. The likes of Mikalenko. Obviously, Coleman's not got long left. Ashley Young's not got long left. Mikalenko's not good enough for the Premier League. Patterson, Yeah, likewise. So, yeah, they desperately need a couple of fullbacks. Ball in the box, corner to Arsenal, chance. It's gone back out for another corner. It was Beto who cleared it away. Hadji Wright scoring for Coventry against Burnley. There you go, punched away by Pickford. Another corner to Arsenal. They can have Malacia. Actually, that would probably be the move that Everton would make in David Moyes' era before, or chance for Arsenal. Can they get it right? Cleared away by Branthwaite. It's all Arsenal in these opening 6 or 7 minutes. Everton sustaining heavy pressure. But yeah, that is, I would say, in previous Moyes Everton eras, he generally went and got United's worst players, didn't he, and turned them into half-decent squad players at Everton. You know, you think of Darren Gibson, Tom Cleverley, Phil Neville. There's a lot of ex-United players who went to Everton. What channel's the game on? The game is on TNT Sports in the UK. If you're anywhere else, I don't know. I'd guess. I mean, I've got family out in Qatar who are watching it on beIN. Ooh, that was a bit of a naughty tackle, but Everton away here. If they get it right, Beto's in behind. Scrappy, and Arsenal clear it. Yeah. It's just lacking a little bit of pace up top, Everton, aren't they? That Hadji Wright is a baller. Yeah, he's a good player, Hadji. I mean, there's a number of good, high-quality players in the Championship who, you'd think could make the step up in the right team. They can also have Delot. Delot's like your Luis Diaz. He has moments of really, really good defensive play, and then all of a sudden just can't do anything with his end product. Prem Dad, I've gone Everton 1-0 win, I don't think it's looking that good, that shout from the first 8 minutes or so, whatever we're on. Yeah, 8 minutes. Arsenal putting him under a lot of pressure. There's been a couple of little counter-attacks from Everton, but not an awful lot. I just hope Levy leaves us. I don't like him, and Ange can stay. I mean, Daniel Levy is very, very shrewd, isn't he? He's known as one of the best operators in football. He doesn't get messed around. Spurs have done... They've built maybe one of, if not the best stadium in football since he's been at the club and kind of turned things around and got Spurs back into the Champions League and all that sort of stuff. I know it's not quite gone so well in recent years, since Poch left, since Kane left. But I don't necessarily think it's Levy. I don't know. I'm not educated so well on Spurs running of the club, so maybe you'd be able to tell me better. But from my limited understanding as an outsider, I wouldn't say that Daniel Levy's done a terrible job. Aside from the fact that you could maybe say he's maybe not got the right choices in terms of appointing his staff. He's probably... And you know what? And there's a lot of football operators who are like that. I mean, you look at the criticism that Jim Ratcliffe is getting at Man United. He went out there and chose to get maybe the best. Dan Ashworth, went and got Dan Ashworth. Didn't work out, sacked him. There's loads of things like that in football where you get owners who are prepared to back the club, prepared to spend, but are just I mean, Everton, Christ, that's a perfect example. Everton, Farhad Moshiri, spent a fortune, picked all the wrong people, and let them go either too soon or let them go on for far too long, and just picked all the wrong people to try and run his football club for him, and the money that he spent got wasted criminally. £1 billion of it, or however much it was, just blown, and fiscally they were all over the place. And it's just a common thread in football now that you've got owners who are not very good at running football clubs. They'll throw money at the problem a lot of the time, and they'll invest. They're prepared to invest, but they just don't often get the big decisions right. That was a good bit of clearance from, good bit of defending from Jared Branthwaite. How the F was Ancelotti at Everton? Yeah. Ancelotti. Rafa Benitez. Still can't believe Benitez was Everton manager. 2 European Cup winning managers at Everton. Goodness me. Ooh, very nearly straight in from a corner there. Again, Jared Branthwaite clearing it away. I mean, Everton they're under some real pressure here. They're under some real pressure. It's another Arsenal corner. It's dropping in, that. It's dropping in, and Jared Branthwaite just knocks it away from under his own crossbar. Arsenal nearly 1-0 up. Very nearly 1-0 up. I would love Jared at United. I think Jared Branthwaite's a very good defender, and I would fully expect that he will move on from Everton this summer. I think from the rumours, if they're to be believed, Jared Branthwaite was, chance if Arsenal can get it right. Scrappy, cleared away. If rumours are to be believed, Jared Branthwaite wanted to leave Everton last summer and stuck around, and for whatever reason, I think injury and various other situations, it didn't quite pan out for him. Obviously, United didn't stump up the money, was another reason. But for various reasons, Everton didn't get the money they wanted. Nobody else was really coming to the table. Now, I don't think Jared Branthwaite has had a particularly strong season here at Everton. He's done all right, but I think he had a much better season last year. And I think he might have done what a lot of young players do. His agents probably said to the club last season, we want to go now, we're ready to go. If an offer comes in that's acceptable, we'd like to go. But then it's not worked out, and then this summer it's like, well, we've waited a year, we've stayed with you, it's not got any better at Everton, there still doesn't seem to be any signs of you moving up the table, we'd like to go now. And there's only so long you can keep players against their will before it starts to affect the rest of the squad, the players' performances, plus their own value as well. Jared Branthwaite, if they sell him now, he goes for maybe, 50 million? Maybe 60? I don't know. If he puts a transfer request in and says, I am not playing for Everton, I want to leave, which sometimes clubs will force players to do, then he goes for maybe a little bit less. He goes for maybe 30, 40 million. Because clubs will know, well, we're not paying. Same with Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon went for, 40 million to Newcastle. He could arguably have gone for a fair bit more than that, but he said quite clearly that he wanted to leave Everton, didn't he? When players are surplus to clubs, they can't use them anymore, I expect it becomes a lot easier for the negotiating teams to be just like, well, you can't keep him, so he has to leave. You have to come round to the negotiating table. This is the price we're offering. And unless you've got other people knocking the door down for him, this is what you're getting. We had contract terms agreed last summer with him, but Everton were demanding 70 million. Yeah, that's it. It's 70 million you're just not going to get for him. You're just not going to get 70 million for a Jared Branthwaite. Not a guy who's not playing for the England team. He's not playing for a team that's in Europe. He's playing for a team that aren't going to get in Europe anytime soon. And there's better value out there. As soon as they start getting into the realms of 70 million quid, I mean, there's other centre-backs you could go and get for that sort of money. Or, I mean, Mark Gay. Mark Gay's got a year left on his contract at Palace. How much are you getting a Mark Gay for, who is in the England squad, who is still only 25, 26, a lot of experience? Mark Gay is probably better value at, say, 30 to 40 million, whatever it might be, with a year left of his contract, than Jared Branthwaite at 70. I would say, anyway, that would be my opinion. FM No Casuals, Leeds are losing. Oh, goodness me, Leeds are having a tough time of it at the minute. Tough time of it. They thought they were, I mean, they probably still are nailed on to come up. Burnley have just equalised against Coventry. Championship, Luton are beating Leeds, yeah. West Brom 0, Sunderland 0, Coventry 1, Burnley 1. Leeds are, oh, I thought they were top. They're not, are they? Oh, Leeds have gone from, with that Burnley goal, Leeds are in third now. And I tell you something, do you know what? Because obviously Borough won last night, I know Borough are nowhere near him, but if Sunderland were to win today against West Brom, they'd go 6 points behind Leeds, assuming that stays the same, with 6 games to go. 6 points behind, 6 games to go. And does Sunderland still have to play Leeds? No. But Leeds have got some tough fixtures. Leeds have got some very tough fixtures between now and the end of the season. They've got to go to Borough. They've got Bristol City. They've got Preston. Sorry, I thought something was happening then. Jake O'Brien. He's done quite well at Everton, hasn't he, since he's come in? I feel like he's been a decent signing for him. Yo, Nicola, how's it going? FM No Casual, just gone over 1.5 goals for most games. It was a yellow card for O'Brien. What did he get the yellow card for? I missed that. It's an Everton throw-in, so I'm guessing it must be maybe giving a bit of chat to the ref, or has there been some sort of an off-the-ball incident, or... No idea. But it's a throw-in to Everton. They're going to go into the box. Kivior's marking Tarkovsky. Long ball in. Cleared away by Arsenal. Got a bit of head tennis going on. And Arsenal on the counter-attack now. Here's Wanyeri. Honestly, I can't understand why there's such an uproar with what I said the other day about Ethan Wanyeri. I've had messages, I've had hate and all sorts on TikTok, on YouTube, on X. I've had hate from all sorts of Arsenal fans saying that it's ridiculous and I don't know what I'm talking about, and various other not very nice comments. Because I dared to say that Ethan Wanyeri isn't going to want to sit on the bench behind Bukayo Saka. Like, does anyone else agree with me there? Is that like an outrageous opinion? I'm not reaching. I'm not trying to create, anything. Like, that's just, to me, that seems like a really logical conclusion. He plays on the right wing. Maybe you could argue he's playing a bit more central today in sort of a number 10. It doesn't look like he is, actually. It looks like Trossard's playing in the number 10, if anything. Sterling's on the left and Wanyeri's on the right, where we expected him to be. That's not where all the lineups had him playing. They had him playing in the 10. But even if we accept that he can play in the number 10, is he going to play ahead of Martin Odegaard, his captain? No. Is he going to play ahead of Bukayo Saka? No. So you've got this world generational talent. According to Arsenal fans, they will say he's absolutely world class already. But I think it's fair to say Wanyeri, again, I sound like a broken record, but he's only Michael Owen and Wayne Rooney have scored more goals than Wanyeri under the age of 18 in the Premier League. So big competition. He's in there. He's in league with those two names. That would certainly put him under the bracket of a top young player. And both of those were playing regularly at 18. Lamine Yamal playing regularly at 18. Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. The best players in the world, Florian Wirtz, they're all playing regularly, starting games at 18. Wanyeri won't be. Wanuri will not be. I agree with you, but I would also add, as a young player, you have to be patient, as it could be a mistake to move too soon. It depends how good he expects to be. I think you're right. I think you're right if his talent is maybe not as good as we think it could be. But every other top young player that is going to be competing for the Ballon d'Or and whatever else, that has aspirations to win things, they need to be playing and starting games regularly. Oh, that was a little bit silly, that, from Everton. They dove in there. There was almost a penalty given away. Luckily for Everton, Kivior stayed on his feet. But he chopped back inside. It was actually quite good play from Arsenal. He chopped back inside and an Everton player came sliding through. Not sure who it was. Looked a little bit like Jack Harrison, but I'm not sure if he's playing, to be honest. I can't remember the Everton lineup. But it looked like he slid in and inches away from clearing the Arsenal player out. As it could be a mistake to move too soon. I think you're right, Kane. I know what you're saying. It could be a mistake. But it's never ever going to be a mistake if he starts games at that new club. If Wanuri was to leave and go to a club where he would be starting regularly, even if that club wasn't maybe a top team, like a Barcelona or a Liverpool or City, whatever, even if it wasn't one of them, let's say he just went and did what Jude Bellingham did when he went to Dortmund, goes to a team that's regularly going to be in the Champions League and he starts every single game. Even if he did what Mason Greenwood's doing at Marseille. Goes abroad, gets regular minutes, starts every game, learns, makes mistakes, but raises his profile by doing so. That's how he's going to get to the level that he should be. That's how Sancho did it, isn't it? That is how Jadon Sancho did it. Now, obviously, Sancho it hasn't quite worked out for because he moved from Dortmund. He chose the wrong move, didn't he, to Man United? He picked the wrong club. But he certainly didn't regret his time at Dortmund. I think if he had his time again, he'd probably stay. Leeds falling apart again. Yes, George. Yeah, Leeds not looking so good. Danny, we don't want to burn him out. Listen, I understand we don't want to burn him out. I get that. But there's a number of, like I say, Wayne Rooney, for example. Arsenal on the counter-attack here. There's a chance if they get this right. It's Jared Branthwaite there again. Jared Branthwaite saving Everton. He's, every single time we're watching him, Jared Branthwaite's. I think that the new owners at Everton will just be seeing pound signs at the minute because I think they know that he's going to leave this summer, and it's just a case of how much they get for him now. And every performance is raising his price tag. Edward, are we doing Bayern against Inter? We are going to be doing Bayern against Inter. Yes, we will. Not really, though. If we look back in the day at United, we always had an experienced player ahead. This is why I get annoyed with United overplaying Garnacho, Mainu, Yoro. Again, maybe it's I'm looking at it and seeing, we had Michael Owen. Yes, we had experienced players ahead of him, but he played 30 plus games a season from being younger than 18. Wayne Rooney, exactly the same, starting games at 17 for Everton. Again, I've cited several other examples. Wirtz, Bellingham, Yamal. These are the top players, the best attacking players that we have seen over the years. There's not too many examples of players getting burnt out. As a young player, you've got more energy than ever before. You're not saying use them for 90 minutes, but starting them regularly. What I'm saying is I just don't think Wanuri is ever going to be first choice at Arsenal as long as Bukayo Saka and Odegaard are there. So he's never ever going to get 30 starts a season. He's just not. He's not going to get that confidence and he's not going to learn the game. So it's pointless. I'm not saying he necessarily needs to be sold, but Arsenal should loan him out, I think. I think probably the best thing for Arsenal as well, would be a loan for Ethan Wanuri. Get him out, get him playing regular football. He might want to come back, but I can't imagine he comes back if Bukayo Saka's still at right wing. Can't imagine it at all. He's too good. That's how I see it. Anyway, We should have better players ahead of them and drip feed game time to less pressure off them. Yeah, well, you do. I get what you're saying in terms of like we need to have better players in front. He has got that. But I would also say that you need to put faith in them or you end up curtailing the development. You don't want to play them 90 minutes and they have to keep playing for the sake of the team. There you go. Leeds have just equalised against Luton. That's when burnout becomes an issue. But I don't think it's an either or. I don't think it's keep him on the bench or play him every single minute. There is an in-between. There is a happy medium. And the happy medium is he starts 25, 30 plus games a season. Excuse me. He starts 25 to 30 plus games a season. And you take him off towards the end of games. And maybe you start him in all the cup games. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes at Arsenal that he needs to develop. He only has a year left on his contract, Jared, so they'll get 50 max. Does he? Are we sure about that? I'm not sure he is. Let's have a look. Jared Branthwaite. Contract. You could be right, Kane. It's 2027, mate. He's got 2 years left. 2 years. I agree, but Musiala works. Lamine, no one at the clubs are as good as in that position. Yeah, but that's allowed them to step up, hasn't it? It was the same with Jude at Dortmund. You know, you've got to give them the minutes. You've got to look. If you ask the young player, if you ask them, do you want to play? Absolutely, you've got to give them the time. You've got to give them the opportunity. You've got to give them the platform. You can't protect them from themselves. And in fairness, look, I'm not using this as an opportunity to have a dig, but I don't think Yoro, Mainu, Garnacho are even in the same realm as Ethan Nwaneri, from what I've seen so far. They are good young players, and I think arguably it's even more true with them then that they should be played. They should be played and played every minute as much as they can be. Until they're tired, obviously, then take them off. But for Nwaneri, it's a slightly unique case in that he's not going to get he's just not getting the chance at Arsenal with Bukayo Saka there and Odegaard. So it's a silly. It's an unfortunate one because you can tell he's an Arsenal lad and he wants to play for the club, for his team. But it's a bit like Scotland when they had Kieran Tierney doing really well and Andy Robertson doing really well. Scotland had no good players for years and then all of a sudden they get two at left back. It's just the luck of the draw sometimes. It's exactly the same with Arsenal. I'm sure if they could have produced a world-class talent in another position, it would have been at maybe centre-back or at maybe in goal or maybe in centre midfield actually. But look, they've gone with Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri's a player they've produced and I think he's a terrific player, I really do. Turkish League, if you get time, look at the pen that's just been given. I'll have a look in a minute, mate, yeah. I'll pose a different question then, mate. Where would Nwaneri go that's good enough for him? Pick anywhere. Anywhere. Mate, Billy Gilmore's getting minutes at Napoli. You could send him to Napoli. You could send him to Serie A. You could send him to Dortmund. You could send him to any team. I would argue that Ethan Nwaneri is better off at 18 years old. He's better off going to Feyenoord on loan than sitting on the bench for a season at Arsenal. He'll go to Feyenoord. He'll go to Lille. He'll go to. We've seen what Angel Gomez has done at Lille, Napoli, Dortmund, any of the above. Porto, Benfica, whatever. Send him to a team where we know he's going to start every game. Send him out on loan. I actually think if they put him up for sale, it would be more of the Bayern Munichs, the Liverpools, the Cities, they would come in for him, and he'd probably find himself in a similar position, albeit not as bad. Like, if Wanyeri is at Liverpool now, for example, he knows he's got a pathway, because Mohamed Salah's probably got a year to 2 years left at the very, very highest level. Maybe Mohamed Salah's brilliant next year, but then the year after that, maybe it just starts, there's just a little bit of a dip and we start taking him out of games and putting Wanyeri in more. There's a pathway for him at Liverpool. There isn't a pathway for him at Arsenal. Bukayo Saka's still young. He isn't going anywhere. So it's baffling to me that is not a really obvious question that loads more Arsenal fans are asking themselves. What do we do with Ethan Wanyeri? It's a real conundrum. It's a nice position to be in, mind, but I think it only ends up with him leaving the club. Because the other option is that they try and foist him in round peg square hole into a left wing position, or maybe they change the whole system and they try and play with 2 number 10s, or it could be all sorts of things they try and do with him. But I think for the most part, it's going to mean that the system wins, everything stays as it is, but Ethan Wanyeri plays less. And I don't think he wants that. In theory, is the more Arsenal draw or lose, the less wins and the draw we need to be confirmed. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Will. If Arsenal were to draw this, then Liverpool... I think Liverpool, if they beat... We've got Fulham... Then we've got Spurs not long after that. I think we've still got to play Leicester away, haven't we, as well? Yeah, we've got a couple of games where you would say if Liverpool get 9 points in them 3, I think Spurs is going to be an obvious one because they'll have all eyes on Europe. Although, this is what baffled me with the Arsenal lineup. Spurs, look at the lineup Spurs put out last night. They've got everything is rested on Europe. They put that lineup out in the league. They've got nothing to fight for in the league. Arsenal, I know it's tough, but they do still have something to fight for in the Premier League. Puts out this lineup. It's maddening. It's absolutely insane. If Yoro went to Madrid, he would be talked about differently. Well, yeah, he would be because he's at Madrid and that brings a different type of... But again, I'm not sure that he would play like Asensio. Asensio's playing every minute at Real Madrid recently. And has he scored? Is it in? Oh, it looked funny, that. Trossard scored. It looked like it had gone wide. Arsenal 1-0. That was a really, really good counter-attacking goal. I think Tarkovsky's had a bit of a murder there. He's shouting at Gay. Bit of confusion at the back for Everton, but it's a finish, and Arsenal are 1-0 up. Let's just watch this back. It was a throw-in in the Everton half, and they give it away. Sterling breaks forward. Branthwaite's high up the pitch. Trossard just cuts inside on his left foot, low and hard. It's really good finish, actually. Do you know what I say, low and hard? I actually don't think that... Should Pickford be beat there? Just watching this back. Comes through a set of players, but... Oh, I think Pickford will be disappointed with that. I think Pickford will be disappointed there. 1-0 Arsenal. Yeah, it was poor from Gay. Really poor from Gay. It goes out from Sterling to Trossard. I think... You could say O'Brien should block the shot, but I think that would be harsh. But when it does come through, I think Pickford should save that. It's not right in the corner. It isn't right in the corner, and it's a bit of a P-roller. It's kind of along the floor, and... I can't see that being a... Yeah, does it take a deflection? No. I think Pickford should do better. There. Kane, should they not just loan him out for a few years then? Yeah, I think you're right. I think they should loan him out. This is what I'm saying. I think if he stays, it only ends one way, and that's he's sat on the bench for the majority of games. And I don't think that a really top young player would or should be happy with that. And I don't think that's an outrageous opinion. So I absolutely think he needs to leave, whether that's for a year or two on loan, or they sell him. And maybe Arsenal could look at it and go, actually, his price is probably about as high as it's going to be right now. We don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. Maybe we sell him now. Maybe they send him out on loan and he does what Sancho did at Dortmund, and then they've got an asset then, and they go, he's been out for 2 years on loan, playing regularly in the Champions League. Now he's worth 80 to 100 million pound. Now we sell him. Corner to Everton. David Raya just comes straight out and claims it. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, again, I'm not sure. Yorol's a very decent centre-back. He's quick, isn't he? He's all right. He's quick. But I don't think I would put him in the category as one of the best young centre-backs around. He's quick and he's able to get Man United out of some problems. And maybe he will develop into a better centre-back over time. I think his reading of the games, probably not all there just yet. There's some moments I've seen from him where I'm a bit like, either a bit rash or a bit too standoffish. But his pace and his physicality gets him out of a lot of problems. So that's one thing, that's one feather in his cap. And Rio Ferdinand was a little bit like that. I don't think Rio Ferdinand was a great reader of the game, but defensively he was strong and he was quick, and he often beat players for pace and strength in the air. Sunderland 1-0. That's great news. I need Sunderland to win at West Brom. That's going to be a really, really big result, assuming it carries on like that. Mams, what is the shirt of PSG behind you? It's a Ronaldinho shirt. Here, I'll get it for you. I'll get it. Oh. It's a... let me see if I can see it up on the camera. It's Ronaldinho 21 PSG original. It's from about 2002, 2003, about 23 years old, this shirt. But yeah, it's a very, very good one. Vintage. Yeah, but isn't that the same with every young player? That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's true. They're all developing. They're all developing in their own time, at their own pace. I just think that in order to develop, and you've got to give them the time and the platform. You've got to give them minutes on the pitch. They're not going to develop sat on the bench and getting little cameos here and there. You've got to show confidence and faith in them. And if you don't, then they just languish. And we've seen that as well with players. You know, I'm trying to think of players that came through and had a lot of ability and maybe didn't get as much faith shown in them and could have kicked on. But you never know. Like, I mean, there's names I could throw out there, but people would go, yeah, but he turned out to be rubbish. Well, yeah, he probably did turn out to be rubbish, but a large part of that might have been because he was not played as much when he was younger. And there's players who developed later in the career and all sorts of things, but I just think, Wanyuri is a player that Arsenal have got a real asset there, and I think it's going to be important that he gets games over the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm not sure that he will. There's a World Cup this is the other thing, right? There's a World Cup year. Next season is a World Cup year. If he gets it right, if he plays regularly, I would be astonished if he could get in the England squad. He could get in the England squad, assuming he wants that. He's talked about Nigeria as well. He might go to the World Cup with Nigeria. But I just think, there's a player down on the pitch here. Who is it? Who's down? It could be another injury for Arsenal here. We've just got a break in play here at the moment. But yeah, it's a World Cup year. Ethan Wanyuri, I would think that he would be looking at it and go, I have got to get out somewhere next year and play, because if I play next season, I'll be going to that World Cup. I'll be going to that World Cup as a near 19-year-old. That's massive. You know, how many World Cups do you get in your career as a player? You know, at best, if you play really well into your 30s, you might get 4, maybe. Some players have got a little bit more than that. Some players have done 5. Some players have got none. To go to 1 World Cup is incredible and represent your country. So I just think if I was at Wanyeri, I'd be looking at it and going, I need to be going out to somewhere on loan. And where is that? Brentford. I think Brentford would sell... If they're selling in Burmo this summer, which again, highly possible, send him to Brentford. Send Ethan Wanyeri to Brentford. He'd start every single game. He would start every single game. I tell you where he would start as well. Another one. Nottingham Forest. Send him to Forest in the Champions League. He'd play regularly at Forest. I think he'd get in over Hudson-Odoi or Elanga. He'd get plenty. He'd get more minutes there than he would at Arsenal. Mikel Merino it was who was down. He got a bit of a clout, a bit of a clash of heads, it looks like. I don't think he's coming off. He's just having a minute. He might have to have a concussion check to see whether or not he can stay on the pitch. But he seems all right in himself up to now. Hiya Rangers fan, how's it going? Moyes purple patch over. Yeah, it's not looking good, is it? Not looking good for old Moisey boy. Brighton. Brighton have got a lot of wingers, haven't they, on that right side? They've got, you know... it's a good tackle, actually. I didn't think that was a foul. They've got a Dingra. And they've got... who's the lad who came from Newcastle? Why's my mind gone blank? Who's the lad who came from Newcastle to Brighton? My head is absolutely spinning. I can't believe I forgot. Who was it? What's his name? I've been on holiday. Where have you been on holiday? My point as well, I don't think as a United fan I can judge Euro. 2 managers already, different styles and a toxic dressing room. But a positive is he has a strong head on his shoulders. Again, yeah, I've no beef with Lenny Yoro. I don't think he's anything other than a good young centre-back. He might well kick on and do very well. But I think, look, the difference here that we're talking about, and this really is what it's about. Lenny Yoro is how old? How old's Lenny Yoro right now? He's 19, okay? So compare that with Jared Branthwaite, who's 22. Or even, I'm trying to think of another centre-back who's maybe about the same. No, Jared, let's compare him with Jared Branthwaite, right? Jared Branthwaite has been playing regularly now at Everton for 2-3 years, but he had a year out alone at PSV as well, where he started regularly. Yoro isn't an immediate starter at Man United. Who is Yoro going to be thought of as highly as Jared Branthwaite in 2 to 3 years' time? I'm not sure he is. Because Branthwaite is where he is now because of things like the year out at PSV where he played every single game. Yoro's still not playing every game for Man United yet. Amarim's still not 100% sure on him. Now, admittedly, I know he was signed by Ten Hag, but we're talking about a guy who's played 15 games in the league for Manchester United. Or rather, 15 appearances, not even 15 starts, just 15 appearances. Most of them have been off the bench as well, from what I gather. But he's, like I say, he is a very, very good player. I'm not knocking Lenny Yoro at all. Rangers fan, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about me getting stick for saying that Ethan Wanyeri should leave Arsenal, whether that be on loan or permanently or something. And I think as a top young player, he would want to do that, even if it's only on loan in a World Cup year next year, because he'll be looking at it and going, he wants to play in a World Cup, and he isn't going to get the time at Arsenal to do that. There's categorically no way that Thomas Tuchel takes both of Arsenal's right wingers with him to the World Cup. It just isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. If he goes out on loan, he might do. But we've done that to death now. We have done that to death. I don't want to keep talking about Ethan Nwaneri, because I feel that's pretty much all we've done all game. But the game has taken a very familiar pattern, a very familiar shape, I've got to say. I think we thought it would be a low-scoring one. There hasn't been any chances really in the game, apart from a direct corner where Jared Branthwaite knocks it from under his own bar. And then the counter-attack where Leandro Trossard puts it in the bottom corner. And Arsenal go, 1-0 up quite easily. I think Pickford should have done better. But, yeah, it's maybe been how we expected the half to go. And it's 6 minutes of injury time that we're already a minute into. So we've got 5 more minutes to go in this half. Right, I'm going to do something to stop that door banging. 1 second. Calafiori has been flop for Arsenal. I think he's another one, isn't he, that's looked alright when he started a run of games, but he's got injured quite a bit. Like, I think back to the goal he scored at City, the goal he scored at Wolves. Arsenal are in again here, should kill it off. That might be a penalty. That might have been a penalty there. Tarkowski diving in on, is it Trossard? He gets none of the ball. That's really poor from the ref. I'm sorry. Do you know what? In situations like that, I think that has to be a penalty because he's dove in, got none of the ball. The player has had to jump over his legs to try and get a shot away thereafter. That's a penalty. That is a penalty. You shouldn't be able to just block players, obstruct players, whether you touch them or not. Like that is. I know that's an odd thing to say. I understand, but if you dive in like that, and a player has to hurdle you to try and get in front, it's a tough, a 50-50 basically between Trossard and Pickford. Tarkowski dives and gets none of the ball, absolutely none of the ball. That's a penalty. That is a penalty. That is a penalty. That is absolutely a penalty. I'm sorry, he gets none of the ball. Fine, he gets none of the player. I would want a penalty given for that. Even if that was against Liverpool, that's a penalty. I'm telling you, that is a penalty. There's no way at all that should be allowed. That shouldn't be in the laws of the game. Madness. And it's no surprise who it is as well. James Tarkowski, yet again, diving in. Mediocre defender. But agree, Callum, absolutely agree. Everton very much on the ropes. Jared Branthwaite again, flying in, knocking it away. He's my only concern with Jared Branthwaite is that he's maybe a little bit of what we saw with Harry Maguire at Leicester. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a very, very good box defender. Incredible in the air, last man tackles, blocks. He's a good defender, a very good out-and-out defender. But if he played for a Liverpool, a City, and an Arsenal to an extent, any of the other top teams that kind of push out and play out from the back quite high, even Man United now under Amorim try and do that a lot. They're trying to play that way. I think he would. Well, I don't know if he would struggle. I guess that's the point. I don't know how he would fare. I don't know how he would adapt. Because when he's playing higher up the pitch and then has to turn and run back to goal. I mean, he was caught out quite high for the Arsenal goal out of position. So, I don't know. I guess that's just an unknown quantity about Jared Branthwaite that would maybe just make teams a little bit hesitant to spend such a big amount of money on him. But there's absolutely no doubt at all, by the way. I'm not knocking him. He's a very, very good defender. Box defender. Great aerially. Chance for Everton. It's and die. Skies it. Skies it. So has anyone got any strong thoughts then? Just as we approach, we've got 20 seconds left of the first half. Has anyone got any strong thoughts on which game we should be doing at 3 o'clock? Because we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision on which of those 3 o'clock games that we prioritise. And there you go. We're on half time. Half time. Everton. Everton 0. Arsenal 1. Half time. Brighton and Palace. Or I want a refund. Here's Trossard with the goal. I still think Pickford should do better. Is that me being hypercritical? I'm not sure it is. I think Pickford should do better though. Definitely. And what are we thinking of the 5:30 kickoff as well? Forest away at Aston Villa. Big one for both teams, you'd have to say. Again, if Aston Villa were to get the win, it takes them back up above Newcastle, doesn't it? Who play on Monday night away to Leicester. So it would put our Aston Villa straight back in the driving seat, albeit Newcastle would have, I think, 2 games in hand. Brighton need to win today. Fulham, obviously, they've got Liverpool. That's going to be a tough one. Bournemouth really need to win. If Brighton were to win at Palace and Villa were to beat Forest, then and obviously we expect Newcastle will beat Leicester on Monday night. That's going to be a big... And we've got City playing in the Manchester derby as well, so they might drop points. You never know what happens with that one. Who've Chelsea got this weekend? I forgot who Chelsea have got. They play tomorrow, don't they, Chelsea? Brentford away. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. That European race is so tight. It is so tight. And if Villa were to beat Forest, I don't know. Forest don't look like they're dropping out of it anytime soon. They've got Villa away, then they've got Everton at the City Ground, then they go to Tottenham just before the FA Cup semi-final against City. And Forest have got a pretty, I wouldn't say straightforward running, but they're playing teams that don't have an awful lot to fight for at the bottom half of the table. So I think Forest will get Champions League football. I think they'll qualify for it now. Chelsea, I wasn't blown away by Chelsea against Spurs. I really wasn't blown away by Chelsea against Spurs. I didn't think they were that good. Every time I watch Chelsea, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. And that might just be the hate and the bias inside me, because I don't want Chelsea to qualify for the Champions League. I would much rather City, Newcastle. Well, in an ideal world, I'd want Forest. I'd want Villa and Brighton in it before I'd want any of the others. Even Fulham. But hey, look, it's all good. It is all good. It's going to be an interesting end to the season in those European places. Kane, I need Tim Irabunum to be carded and Wanyeri to score for £80. Jesus, tonight. What are you putting on that? That's madness. Is that a quid? Tell me you've only put a quid on that. Tim Irabunum to be carded and Wanyeri to score for 80 quid. That's madness. I mean, I'm saying that's madness like I'm some sort of betting guru. You're talking to the guy here who puts 20 folds on, £2.50, returns 150 grand. That's the guy. But I've still yet to win. 50p. Nah, no wrong with 50p. It's worth a go. It's worth a try. But I don't like them bets. I don't like players to be carded. If I'm ever doing a bet, it's always got to be either double chance or over/under number of goals in the game. Because I feel like you can predict them much better. You can predict, like, this one, I think we said before the game, didn't we? Under 3 goals. Maximum 2 goals in the game. You could tell this wasn't going to be one that was high scoring. And I think if you'd have done Arsenal to win under 2.5, I think you'd have had a really, really good... That would have been good odds. That would have been maybe 3 or 4 to 1. And as soon as you double that up with a few other things... So my full bet was Trossard and Wanyouri to score, Irabunum and O'Brien to be carded. But you're halfway there. You're halfway there, mate. Good luck to you. Keep watching this Trossard goal back here. Sterling out to Trossard. Comes through a set of legs, but that's really poor. I think that's poor goalkeeping. Jonathan XL, do you think Arsenal can win on Tuesday? I don't, mate, no. I really don't. It's the first leg at home, or is it away? I mean, obviously we'll be here for it. I'll be doing a watch-along. Tuesday night, Champions League. It's at Arsenal first leg. See, that's rough. That is rough. Yeah, I think Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid do Arsenal there. At the absolute best, I could see Arsenal getting a point, maybe 1-1 at a push, and then I think they'd lose at Madrid anyway. But I expect it's going to be a Madrid win on Tuesday night, and then it's like, well, then they've got to go and win at the Bernabeu, and that's where you'll see AFTV collapsing. Madrid 2-0. Real Madrid struggles a lot in La Liga, especially against the relegation team last week, 2-0 down. I think you're clutching at straws a little bit, Jonathan. I know they've struggled a little bit recently, but you could say exactly the same about Arsenal West Ham game. You know, that is a penalty. I'm sorry, I know I'm going over the top here, but I'm just watching this back. Trossard gets in the box. He has got a 1v1 with Pickford. That is a penalty. The fact that he doesn't get the ball and doesn't get the player is irrelevant. He literally dives in and the player has to hurdle him. In fact, he lifts his leg up. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I mean, Ian Wright's on the panel. He's usually quite well, you know, he knows what he's talking about. He speaks all right on this sort of stuff. Puts his bias of Arsenal aside, but I think that's a pen. The O'Brien chance. I didn't think that was a chance. It was just a bit of a scrappy one. I don't think an Everton player really even touched it, did they? It hits his chest and he knocks it back. That's not a chance. That's not a chance. Yeah, look, I'd quite like it to be maybe 1-1 going into the second leg. So at least then there's a game. There's a competition. There's a bit of something to get excited about before the second leg. But I would be amazed. I would be absolutely amazed if Arsenal were to beat Real Madrid on Tuesday. I can't see it. I just can't see it. I think Real Madrid are too good. They're a much better side than Arsenal. They're better managed. They are better players, and I don't think Arsenal are that good of a team, to be honest. I think, and I'm sure they'll say the same about Liverpool. Yeah, you've only won the league because everyone else has underperformed. I think that's fair to say, maybe. But I would also argue that Arsenal are only second by the exact same logic. Oh, that was a better chance for Arsenal. Just watching the first one back where Irabunum blocks it. Comes back to him on the edge of the area. That was Sterling, sorry, wasn't it? Not Trossard. Arsenal have been the better team. They deserve to be 1-0 up. Endrick has the problem that he has. Mbappe at the club. He's a good striker, Endrick. Again, I'm not sure about Endrick's. We saw him come on against Liverpool at Anfield. And again, I think he's a talented young player, but he hasn't done enough at Real Madrid. He's played quite a lot in the cups. I mean, he did well in the Copa del Rey, hasn't he? He played 5, scored 5. I think he's done all right in the Copa del Rey, but in La Liga, I think he's only scored once in the league. So it's tough. It's tough for these young players. Endrick choosing to go to Real Madrid, I think that's a move where he'll look at it and go, that was probably not the right move for him. He would have been much better going to Serie A and doing it that way. But there's some where the move works out. Rodrigo, Vinicius. Again, sometimes these clubs can offer players a pathway to the first team, and other times they can't. And I think this is an example where Endrick's probably an example of it as well. And Wanyuri is an example at Arsenal. He isn't going to get into the first team. He's got a player in front of him who is more experienced, arguably, not arguably, is better than him, is more experienced than him. And he's also very young. So unless Saka gets a massive injury and is out for a long time, as he has this season, that's the only reason. If Saka hadn't got injured, Wanyuri wouldn't have even played this season. We'd have seen him in a handful of games. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So, if I'm Wanyuri's agent, I'm saying to him, Saka's fit all next season. You're probably not getting a kick. You might get a few games here and there on the bench. You might play in the League Cup. Is that good enough for you? If it is, fine. Stick around. You want to stay at your team? You want to stay at Arsenal? That's fine. That's your choice. That's your career. But if you really want to kick on, if you really want to be playing in a World Cup next year, you need to go somewhere else. Simple. Simples. That's why I think Yoro chose United. Yoro going to United, there is a pathway, isn't there? You can see that. There is a pathway with Yoro at United because there's no real top centre-backs there. And he could go there and get regular minutes. Man United is... Again, I hate to say this as a Liverpool fan, but if Ruben Amorim can stabilise United, just to a degree... Manchester United is actually an incredible place for young players right now. It's an incredible place for young players because if I was a young player and I was looking at Manchester United's central midfield, for example, like Kobbie Mainoo's a prime example. Kobbie Mainoo could go to another club, he could. But at Man United, he can start. And he's already scored in FA Cup. Man United will still... They've won more in their worst period than Arsenal have in their best period for some years, for decades. United are still a big club. They'll still compete in the biggest competitions. I think that that's a better club for a player to go to. I agree, Kane. I think that's a better club than Arsenal in certain areas. Let me just caveat that. In certain areas. Dean Hyson's idol is Ramos, by the way, said it in an interview. He also said that Joel Matip is the most underrated player, central defender in Premier League history. Joel Matip. And he also said the best ever centre-back that he's played against, is Virgil van Dijk. So that's as good as a come and get me play to Liverpool for Dean Hyson. So I hope he does. I think Amorim is the man. I love him. We need to give him the tools. Yeah, I think that's fair. Look, he's gonna have to get it right at some point. They're gonna have to show patience with somebody. They showed patience with Ten Hag, maybe too much patience, and it didn't work out. But I said from the off, if you go back to my earlier videos when Amorim was first appointed, I think Amorim is the guy who will turn United around if he's given the resources and the tools to do so. If he isn't, he'll get chased out of the club. the same as Ten Hag was, same as other managers have. The fans will get fed up because there's only so long Man United fans will go with seeing losing football. You know, you can accept losing football for a little bit if it's part of a bigger picture, a project that's going to take the club on to better things in future. But they won't accept losing football and rubbish football and not spending money in the transfer market and. So I think Amorim is treading a fine line and he will have to do something in the summer. The club are going to have to back him and hopefully they will. Hopefully they will. Because look, even as a Liverpool fan, I like seeing United where they are. But I would much rather see a top 5, 6 filled with Liverpool's, Arsenal's and Manchester United's than Liverpool's, Man City's, Chelsea's, Newcastle's. I don't like that. I don't like that. They're clubs that don't belong in the top 6. Not that they don't belong in it long term. Maybe they can turn it around and they can become top teams. But I would much rather that there's a historic core of the Premier League that has founded and built English football in many ways, which Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United have, and Chelsea, Newcastle, City have not. Cody, the most underrated centre-back in Premier League history is Jared Branthwaite. We've talked about Branthwaite a lot in this chat, Cody. In this game, I feel like we've talked for a good 20 to 25 minutes about Jared Branthwaite. He's a very, very good player. I'd love him at Liverpool. I don't know if we'll get him, but I would love him at Liverpool if we are after a left-sided centre-back in the summer, which I expect we will be. And I don't think we're going to get Hyson, sadly. So, yeah, I'd like Branthwaite just for the bants, just for the fume across the park. Albeit it's not across the park anymore, is it? So it'll be across the city. But I'd love it. I'd love it just for the fume. United have got no elite strikers. That's true. Yeah, that's true. For me, the most underrated footballer is Thomas Muller. Very good player. He's just left. He's just agreed to leave Bayern Munich this summer, hasn't he? I expect he'll be one that goes to Saudi or maybe to the MLS. I don't know. Something tells me Thomas Muller will go the MLS. I think that's where. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of the Saudi League buying these players and throwing them all in the top. Like same with the Chinese when they did it. Oh, that's a handball, certainly. Is that not handball, referee? Is that not handball? David Raya has just come out of the area, tried to clear it, and I don't know what... That looked like it hit his hand. We're off. I've not put my clock... I've not even started my clock. 45. We're 30 seconds in. There was a long ball there, and I'll tell you something, David Raya... That's a penalty, sir! That's a penalty, referee! And it is a penalty, of course it is. Penalty to Everton. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Arsenal have come out of the second half like an absolute... They're still in the changing room. They're still in the changing room. Everton have knocked it long twice in the first 60 seconds after kickoff. And they've caused Arsenal no end of problems. I think the foul might be just outside the area, but it does continue in the area. That's a penalty. That is a penalty to Everton. I'm sorry. It's a foul outside the box that carries on into the area. It's a penalty to Everton. And the referee has given it. I actually think it was a penalty before that, and maybe a red card to David Raya. Even before that. I don't think he's going to bring it back because Everton have ultimately got the pen. But it is a penalty. Is there going to be a check to see whether it's a free kick? Surely they're not going to draw this out. They're not going to look at this. Surely not. Come on. Don't be playing silly beggars. What's happening here? Wanyuri came off at half time and Sterling for Saka and Martinelli, so they've gone a bit stronger in the second half, Mikel Arteta. But as soon as they've come out, looks like they're going to go a goal. They're going to get equalised. It's going to be equaliser here from the penalty spot. We shall see. David Raya's looking quite confused, but it is a penalty. The referee's given it. Penalty to Everton, and it's Iliman Ndiaye who's got the ball in his hands. Or is it Jorginho? I'm not sure, actually. No, Jorginho's been booked. Sorry, not Jorginho's got the ball in his hands. Jorginho's been booked. I think for a bit of gamesmanship. It looked like he was maybe doing something to the spot or getting in his head. But Iliman Ndiaye's got the ball. It's a penalty to Everton just 2 minutes after the half-time interval. Everton came out and just shook Arsenal. Arsenal's still in the dressing room. They're still in the dressing room. Iliman Ndiaye has taken 4 penalties for Everton. He scored every single one of them. And they've all been low. Very, very low to either side of the goalkeeper. So he doesn't tend to go high. Is he going to go high this time? He's just getting ready. Penalty's just about to be taken. Come on! I feel dirty shouting for Everton to score, but come on. Come on, Iliman Ndiaye. Stick it away. Blues behind the goal and the Gladys screaming. Is it going to be an equaliser? Up he steps. There you go. It's 1-1 Everton. It's 1-1. Oh, there he is. There he is, Iliman Ndiaye. My bet is down, man, because of that Arteta fraud. Hang on a minute. The Arteta fraud, is that not... if you're not bet with Bet365... Again, I'm not promoting any betting companies. Right. If you bet with that certain bet company, they do that sub-on, play-on, don't they? Where if the guy you backed to score comes off, the player who replaces them it carries on for 90 minutes. That's why I'd back with them, because if you do put that bet on, it stays on. Sub on, play on. That's what it's called. So you could have had Saka for the second half. Saka to score. Sky. There's your mistake, Kane. There's your mistake. That's only bet. It's not. No, Arthur, it's not. No, I'm telling you, it's definitely... Well, I don't know if it's bet for... I don't bet with Fred, because he's a United bookmaker, Fred Dunn. But yeah, I go with the Stoke City owners 365. And not that I've got anything to gain from that, by the way, but I'm sure they do. Subbed on, play on, or something like that. It's called something like that. I don't know, and I only know it really because my mate bets an awful lot on that. But it's 1-1. It's 1-1, and Everton have started the second half much brighter. Arsenal now coming back up the side, the left-hand touchline near where the Arsenal fans are. Miles Lewis-Skelly is the one who gave the penalty away. He's got to try and make amends now. Mine is more goals second half and Saka score and Arsenal win. You might be right. Oh, that's much better from Everton. Oh, that's beautiful from Gay. And is it Decore? If he can get this right, chance. Good save from Raya. That was much better on the counter-attack from Everton. Everton started the counter here much, much better. And it's a throw-in down the far side. They're really up for this now, you can see. They're really up for this. They've come out bouncing in the second half. Whatever David Moyes has said to them, Everton have come out fighting. And now Arsenal are on the counter-attack. Now we've got a bit of an ebb and flow to this game. Here's Trossard flying forward. He's got Martinelli with him. He stands it up. Corner to Arsenal. Jake O'Brien puts it behind. Raya is a great goalkeeper. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Again, I think I could name 5 better than him in the Prem alone. I think he's a competent goalkeeper, David Raya. But I would also argue that just in the last few minutes, he showed exactly why he's capable of a clanger. He came out there, and I actually thought it was maybe a handball from Raya. And if it wasn't, it was very close to being. He came out and really dropped a clanger and nearly put Arsenal in it. And Pickford did exactly the same at the start of the first half. So both of these are keepers who are considered to be reliable. Both of them got mistakes in them. 42, thoughts on the pen. I think it was a nailed-on penalty, I've got to say. Absolutely a penalty. Chance here, Arsenal. Cleared away by Everton. It was a block. And Beto's chasing it down now. David Raya, he looked a little bit more certain that time. But yeah, 42 I did. I think it's almost certainly a penalty. I've no concerns about that at all. Definitely a penalty. He was all over Jack Harrison. I think the question mark that Arsenal had was whether or not it was outside the box first. That seemed to be the dispute, because there was Arsenal players running over to the ref and pointing and saying it was there. So you have to give it as a free kick. But it does carry on into the area. So as far as I'm concerned, penalty. Plus I might have a little bit of bias because I really, really want... I really want Arsenal to drop points. Onana better than Raya. No, he's not. Come on, Kane, don't be silly. Do you think Man United need a striker more than a keeper, or a keeper more than a striker? That is a bloody good question. That's a bloody good question, that, Arthur. Do you know what? I might have to do a video on that, because that's a very good question. Do they need a striker more than a keeper, or a keeper more than a striker? I think they need a keeper. I think they need a keeper more than a striker. I think it's incredibly underrated how important a goalkeeper is to any successful team. And Onana, there's no confidence at all with Onana. There's no confidence in him. None. From the fans, from his defence. I'm not even entirely sure his manager. He's incredibly reckless. He's all over the place at times. He can pull off like some worldy saves, and you look and you think, wow, that was brilliant. But, I mean, he's got to have some redeeming features. The vast majority of the time, other than that, he's very naive in how he plays. He puts United into a lot of trouble. I don't think he's as good with the ball at his feet as maybe he needs to be. And I think United would be much better served sticking with Højlund, who is still very young. Xerxes, again, still very young. And developing them. If it was an either-or situation, we're talking about it being an either-or. In an ideal world, they get rid of all three. But I think in an either-or situation where they can only change one of the goalkeeper or the striker, I think a better goalkeeper coming in, if you put Emiliano Martinez into Manchester United's side over Onana, they become much, much better, and I think they can still score goals. If you put Gyökeres or any striker, Isak, if you put Isak into Manchester United's side at centre forward, I think they still probably only finish about mid-table. That's how transformative I think that could be. I think United, with a better goalkeeper, could maybe push up the table and maybe get to the outskirts of European football, maybe even getting into the Europa Conference League, whatever. Isak, I think Isak's a terrific player, but the same problems would still exist, wouldn't they? That they're just all over the place at the back, and there's no real confidence from the defence. Free kick to Arsenal, 25 yards out. Illiman and diving in there. It was a bit of a silly one on Jorginho. And I think if Arsenal could have placed a free kick in a better area, they couldn't have placed it in a better area. If Arsenal could have placed the ball themselves, they would have put it right where it is. Just left of, or just right of centre. Perfect for a left footer. And it's about 25 yards out, so it's just enough to get over the wall and in. And our mate Bukayo Saka's on it. Starboy, as they call him. Starboy. Burnley 2-1 up against Coventry. Yes, George, I spotted that. Are Sunderland still winning? Let me have a look if Sunderland are still winning. That's the one I'm really bothered about. Sunderland are still winning, yes. Luton 1, Leeds 1, Burnley 2-1 up at Coventry. Brilliant. You do realise by India is at the club. Not in the Carabao Cup, far too many. I completely disagree. I watch Højlund every week. He needs to be loaned or sold. I think he's all right. I think he's an okay centre forward. I think he's still young. He's still raw. He needs. Do you know what it is with Højlund? This is the thing with United fans at this moment in time. It feels like they're prepared to show patience with some young players, even if they're making mistakes. They won't show patience with Højlund. I think if they started Højlund regularly, Saka with the free kick, he tried to go under the wall, comes back out, cleared away by Everton again. I don't think Højlund's terrific, and I don't think he's ever going to be an elite centre-forward, but I think he can be a very, very competent one in a better system with a manager that shows him confidence. And a lot of strikers are confidence players, by the way. You can't underestimate the importance of that. In the same way that it is with a goalkeeper. To say to a goalkeeper, you are my number one, I'm going to put you in net. If you have a bad game today, it doesn't matter, you're going in net the next week. You need to do that with your centre-forwards, especially when you're young as well. When you've got a young centre-forward, they need to start every single game, especially if they're the lone centre-forward. There needs to be a clear picture in the manager's mind that you are my number 9 and you're starting there. Amorim doesn't really seem to have that. He's had Mainu there, he's had Xerxes there, he's had Højlund there. I think he's played Bruno Fernandes there sometimes. He's not confident on any of them, and therefore it's not really entirely surprising that when he does put one of them in, none of them, they're like, they have to perform. They have to perform. So, yeah, I think they need to show a little bit more faith in Højlund. That guy, Jack, how do you predict Arsenal to do against Real Madrid? I think Real Madrid win quite comfortably. I do. I think they win quite comfortably. Certainly in the tie. Maybe on Tuesday night, maybe it's going to be a bit more tighter, a bit narrower. Maybe it's just 1-1. Maybe it's 2-1 Madrid, and Arsenal could go to the Bernabeu with a bit of hope, and they need to. They go to the Bernabeu thinking they need to win to get something, and then that leaves gaps on the counter-attack. I haven't got any faith at all that Arsenal are going to go through. None. Ball into the box from Everton from a free kick. Arsenal away on the counter-attack if they get this right. No. Josh, chances of Tarkowski getting a card. Well, I mean, he's thrown himself about quite a bit. Exactly as he did in the Merseyside derby. He only knows how to play one way. And he's been caught out by pace a number of times before. That was good play. Who was that for Everton? Who was that coming back for Everton? Just won the ball back off Declan Rice. I didn't see who that was. Jurriën Timber's coming on for Arsenal for number 4, which is Ben White, which would indicate that Ben White's probably going to start in Madrid. Looks like Timber's going to... No, he's moving over to the right, so I think he might go to... No, he's going to go to right back, isn't he? Højlund should never have been the starting striker for Manchester United when he come in. That's true. That's true. He wasn't good enough to do it then, but now he is. He has to be. He's older. He's Denmark's starting striker. He has to be the number 1 striker. There's nobody else. You've not got anyone else. You've not got anyone else. Arthur, it'll be either Real Madrid or Barcelona who win the Champions League, maybe Bayern Munich. I think Inter. Watch Inter, seriously. I think Inter's an outside chance. They're by no means do I think that Inter are the best team in the competition, but I think Oh, that was a wonderful run. Who was that? Tarkowski's been booked. Hey, I told you. He's diving in again. The rat. The little rat. It was Miles Lewis-Skelly. It was a wonderful run by Miles Lewis-Skelly. That was brilliant. That was held off Jack Harrison, cuts inside Irabunum, chased down by Harrison, and Tarkowski just leaves a lazy leg out. And he doesn't fall over it. He clatters him. He absolutely clatters him. It's a free kick to Arsenal, right on the edge of the area. I think PSG, I want PSG to win it. In an ideal world, I want PSG to win it. But my second team in the competition would be Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan are really a one to watch, definitely. Do you think Arsenal can still win this match? Yeah, I mean, absolutely they can win the match. They're creating some chances on the counter. They didn't start the half all that well, but they've started playing a little bit better the last 5-10 minutes. They've got a free kick here, right on the edge of the area. Saka, Rice, and... is that Zinchenko? Who's that over it? Trossard. Is it Trossard? It looks like it's going to be Rice to take this. I don't think Saka... it's maybe more suiting of a left footer. So it might be Saka who's best placed to take it. But Saka, Trossard and Rice stood over the free kick. It's probably about 20 yards out. It's just to the edge of the D, at the edge of the penalty area. Just left of centre. 63 minutes. Bukayo Saka. Rice got his arm up. Rice is going to take it. Shot. Oh, great shot. Pickford punches it wide. It's still in play, actually. Looked like it was going out wide, but Everton managed to clear it. And Everton do well, actually. No, it's gone all the way back. Lewis-Skelly is better than Wanyeri in terms of potential. I'd say they're about the same. I think Lewis-Skelly is very good. I wouldn't knock that at all. I think they're both potentially world-class young talents. I think the difference is with Lewis-Skelly is he will play at Arsenal. He's nailed down that left-back slot for himself, hasn't he, already? So there's nobody going to play over Miles Lewis-Skelly, and they can still put someone like maybe Zinchenko, or maybe if Calafiori stays, they can still put someone in to kind of ease him in and take him out of the firing line if they need to. But Miles Lewis-Skelly is in a perfect position at Arsenal. He should stay at Arsenal. He's doing really, really well there. And for his development, I think he'll do great. Breuer and Garner have just come on for Everton to give them a slightly different option up top. But he's going for it. I mean, Armando Breuer coming on is a good sign. Assuming he stays fit, I think Breuer can cause Arsenal real problems. A bit more pace. It's a different type of threat up there. I actually thought when Breuer was at Southampton, if he'd have stayed fit and kept a bit of match sharpness, he could have kicked on. He was a good young centre forward at the time. Just hasn't quite gone right for him since. So that's a foul to Everton. That'll be a good opportunity here. Good opportunity here for him to whip the ball in. Timber with the foul. 66 minutes gone. It was a foul on Illiman and Dye. What's your thoughts on Garnacho? What are my thoughts on Garnacho? I think Garnacho is a talented young player with very little end product. I think he's one of a number of wingers that we have in world football at the minute who has a lot of pace. He's got his movement is very, very sharp, and he's got a good eye for goal, but it sometimes has the occasional brain fart and shoots when he should pass. Passes when he should shoot, strays offside too much, maybe mentally just gets caught up in the game a little bit. He's prone to kind of outbursts and shooting from distance when he shouldn't. His final ball is not always the best. He's a little bit like in the Luis Diaz mould, isn't he? And I've gone on record for my criticism of Luis Diaz. Doku, players like that, Adama Traore, can beat a man, can get to the byline, can cause trouble with their pace, But when it gets to the nitty-gritty of actually producing a final ball or a shot on goal, he's often not the best. But he's a good player. He is a good player. He's a good young player who maybe, similar to a number of other players, needs time, needs minutes. Tarkowski's just thrown an Arsenal player on the floor. I think it was it Timber? He's on a yellow card, Tarkowski. He's got to be very careful here. Got to be very careful. It's a corner to Everton, and it, the ref's just having a word with them and saying, calm it down, pack it in the area. It's another corner for Everton. Tarkowski just threw him on the floor. Don't think it was deserving of another yellow card, but he's got to be careful. Timber's just holding his arms out like this, just trying to block Tarkowski off. David Raya catches it. Simple one, that. Josh Breuer could have been the next Gabbiadini at Southampton. Yeah, Gabbiadini, what a player he was. Or Danny Osvaldo. He was a cracking player, wasn't he? Do you remember that goal he scored? Was it against City? Osvaldo. They had some decent players, Southampton, in that period. Garnacho, dead baller. Xavier Swungu, see all your shirts up there. You need to get a Villa shirt up there. I have got a Villa shirt somewhere. It might be in this bag behind me. I've got a load of shirts behind me. I think I got a Villa shirt from, it's about 2007. Didn't have a name on the back of it, but I think it was when you had John Carew, Milner, Ashley Young, Stuart Downing, Gareth Barry. Defence was Olof Mellberg, Larson. Can't remember who else. Brad Fried, Linnet. Good team then. Alan Hutton. There should be a United shirt. No chance. Everton and United shirts, there's no way they're going up behind me. Nor is a Chelsea shirt. Nor is an Arsenal shirt. Nor is a City. Although I have got a City shirt. A City shirt's probably one of the oldest shirts I've got, actually. I've got a City shirt from about 98. 99. IDOS across the front. That was one of the first away kits I ever got. It was only because I used to say, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I've always been a Liverpool fan, but I've just liked footy kits. So I always used to buy like foreign kits and stuff whenever I had a birthday or something. What about a Spurs shirt? I've never really liked Spurs, Arthur. I've got to be honest. I've never really liked Spurs. And I can't explain why. I hate Arsenal as well. So it's not even like anything. I don't know. I think Spurs had a bit of an Indian sign over us at one point. And every time we seem to play Spurs in the 90s and early noughties, you seem to get a decent result against us. Yeah. I don't think we enjoyed playing Spurs. I never enjoyed White Hart Lane. So I think it's just that. It's anything deeper than that. It's just that you got some good results against us. And I also think there's a little bit of the north-south divide. I don't like southern teams. I think that's what it is. I don't like southern teams. There's no southern teams behind me. There's no southern Premier League teams behind me. The only southern teams that I've got a little bit of time for are the teams that are really far south. Like your Bournemouths, maybe your Brightons. I don't like Southampton. I like Portsmouth. Bournemouth, Portsmouth. Not Plymouth. Bournemouth, Portsmouth. Palace. Yeah, Palace are okay. Don't mind Palace. So quite like Neil Warnock. How times have changed. It's mad, isn't it? How some teams you just have got an innate, you don't like them, and you can't really explain why. There's a number of teams I've got like that. I just don't know why, and I think it just goes back to they might have beat Liverpool when I was younger. Do you know what it is with Spurs? Actually, I think it might be when you were 3-0 up against Man United, that great Man United side at White Hart Lane. And I'm sure I was giving a certain family member a bit of stick and saying, ha 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 ha, you're getting battered at Spurs, blah blah blah. And then Spurs got beat 5-3. They just came out in the second half and battered you. So it's stuff like that. It's just little things that stick in your mind as a kid. So I imagine it's something as simple as that. Well, Arsenal have got a free kick on the far right-hand side. Chance for them to put a ball into the box. Again, just while we've got this break in play, if you're sticking around, I am here all day. We've got a big, big day of Premier League football. We're going to be here for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Still not 100% sure on who we're going to watch at 3 o'clock. Could be Ipswich Wolves, could be Bournemouth West Ham Bournemouth, could be Palace against Brighton. We're not 100% sure yet. I'll leave that to you. I'll maybe do a poll at full time. I'll do a poll at full time and you can decide. Tell me in the chat who you want me to watch at 3 o'clock and we'll watch that. We'll keep an eye on the other two, obviously, but we'll watch that game, whichever one of those three it is. And then at 5:30, obviously, we've got Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest, a massive game in the race for Europe. Ilman and Dye's just gone down with cramp, so again, we've got another break in play. But yes, that one is going to be a really big one. Aston Villa against Forest at 5:30. So we're here from 12:15 today, all the way through to maybe, 6:15, half 6, nearly 8 o'clock. We'll be here till tonight after all the games are finished. It's a big day of football, a big long day of live streaming. I'm mega excited, loads of football on, love it to bits. Arthur, I've changed my mind. I now say Wolves v Ipswich. I think that's the one to watch too, mate. I do. I think Wolves v Ipswich is the game to watch. It's going to be a very, very big game, that one. Ipswich get it right. They might have a chance. Races are on. Oh God, yeah, it's the Grand Nash, isn't it? It's the Grand Nash. Oh. Yeah, you know what? I'll keep you updated on the Grand Nash as well. Then, if anyone's sticking around for the footy, we'll after both their wins. I know that's it, Arthur. It's going to be a big game, really big game. Is Alcaraz coming on for Everton? Can they nick a win here at the end? We've got 20 minutes left there or thereabouts, 15 plus injury time. Can Everton get a win? I'm going down after this. Suited and booted. Oh, nice. Nice. I don't think I've never been to the Grand Nash. I've been to a few race meets and stuff, like been to Chester a few times. And a couple at Haydock. It's a good day out. Good day out on the beers with your mates. Pickford sends it long. Everton might have a chance here, actually. It's well done there from Everton, but Arsenal win it back the second ball. Oh, that's poor. Free kick to Arsenal. Shall I run on the horse track and trip them up? I wouldn't recommend it. Have you ever seen how big them horses are? Have you ever actually been up close to a proper racehorse? They are massive. They're like a normal horse. They're huge. Absolutely huge. Oh, chance. Arsenal are in behind here. Good save by Pickford. I think he's given it a foul anyway. It's a good save by Pickford. 1v1. It was Trossard. He really should have probably scored there, but I think he gave a foul anyway. I don't think that was a foul. It wasn't even a foul. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. These refs are awful, aren't they? These refs are dreadful. They blow up for the slightest thing, and yet a player can take another player's leg off like they did the other night against Liverpool, and nothing happens. It's just the standard of refereeing. It's so poor. Arthur, what a save. Think I'm 30 seconds in front. I think, yeah, you are, mate. I'm watching it via the internet, so it's always... If I was downstairs in the living room, I could maybe get a box. But I'm doing it via the Sky app, or via the TNT app, sorry. So it's about 30 seconds behind. But yeah, it was a good save by Pickford. It was a very good save. There's a good chance though here, I think, for Arsenal to maybe rest players. If their intention is to just focus on Real Madrid, and they have kind of knocked the Premier League on the head, which doesn't seem to be the case because they've brought Saka and Martinelli on, it makes the lineup all that more baffling. If you're resting players for Real Madrid, rest them for Real Madrid. Why are you trying? Unless it's just disrespectful then from Mikel Arteta, isn't it? That's the only thing it could be. If you're resting players for Real Madrid, which is what all the Arsenal fans in the chat said to me before the kickoff, they all said, what are you having a go at Arteta for? He's quite obviously resting players for Madrid, right? But then he's brought on Saka and Martinelli and Timber. He's brought them all on. So if you're bringing them on, then you want to win the game, which means you're committing players, and you're obviously trying desperately to win the Premier League still, and you're still, you're not necessarily considering Real Madrid all that much. So I don't understand it. It must be disrespectful to Everton then. Maybe he thought that team that he put out could get the job done against them. Maybe he thought an Everton team that had one defeat in 9 games was they're going to roll over at Goodison Park. Evidently not. Arrogance from Mikel Arteta yet again. The Lego head. Not that I can call anyone, but you know what I mean. That was it was silly from Arteta. I think if he's going to rest players. Take them off, leave them off. What are you doing? Ashley Young's about to float one into the box for Everton. 10 minutes to go. It's sent deep to the far post. Tarkowski gets it all wrong. And it's gone out for a goal kick to Arsenal. Love you, Prem Dad. Actually too. Cheers, Edward. Love you too, mate. Love you too. Here we go. Here's the Ipswich lineup. Palmer, Tuanzebe, O'Shea, Burgess, Townsend. Morsey and Cayuste in midfield. Front three of Ben Johnson, Nathan Broadhead. Nathan Broadhead's playing. They're playing 2 up front then. Enciso and Delap. Wow. Okay. Delap's up there with Broadhead. What's the Wolves team? Let's have a look at the Wolves team. That's going to be a good one. A very interesting one. Wolves have gone with Jose Sarr. Back 3 of Doherty, Totti and Emmanuel Agbadou. Nelson Semedo, João Gomez, Andre and Ryan Aït-Nouri. And a front 3 of Marshall Monetti, Jean-Richard Bellegarde and Jorgen Strand Larsen. No Cunha. Where's Cunha? Chang is on the bench. Guedes is on the bench. Forbes is on the bench. No Cunha. Is he still suspended? Cunha? Let's have a look. Kane, yeah, you can stick his hair on his head when it falls off. Your hair is beyond saving, John Joe. Jesus Christ, that's strong, Kane. That's strong. I'm trying. Again, I wasn't blessed. It is what it is. And the trip to Turkey is rough. Edward, I've only known you a few months, but you're not just a friend, you're like family, you're a brother to me. Oh, dude, you're going to make me cry. Arsenal have had 77% possession. I mean, yeah, Everton have just conceded an awful lot of it, to be honest, and defended very deep. Edward, you doing any more games today? Yes, mate, I'm doing one of the 3 o'clocks. I'm not sure which one. Ipswich Wolves, West Ham, Bournemouth, or Palace, Brighton. It'll be one of them three, and then in the 5:30 we've got Villa and Forest. So I'm going to be live for another 4 or 5 hours yet. Is Cunha's injured, right? You need some hair cream and do a sponsorship deal. Honestly, I think if I ever get a sponsorship deal, if I get a sponsorship deal for anything, I'll be amazed. But if I get a sponsorship deal for anything hair related, yeah, I might get something for. I tell you what, I could get if there's any weight loss companies watching, and they fancy giving your boy here some coin. I'm 3 stone down. I'm doing all right. It's coming off in the last few months. The old Urian timber. It's falling off me. I know you can't tell just yet, but maybe if you have a look at some of my earlier videos, it's coming off slowly but surely. So if we get any good Herbalife or any of them want to sponsor, they can get in touch. Arsenal lost the league at Goodison Park. Villa and Forest is a big match for both teams. Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. Just get a wig. Drink water. Oh God, well, yeah. That's just Nestle. That's just that you get a pack of 12 for whatever it was, £2, £3. Callum, I can be horribly honest about losing weight. It's hard, mate. It is hard losing weight. It's very hard. I've got massive sympathy for anyone that's done it. Massive respect. I'm trying. It's rough. It's really rough. But I'm getting there. I'm going to be a PT by June. Nice. Good luck with it, Callum. Do whatever makes you happy, mate. Life's short. Life's bloody short. You've got to do whatever makes you happy. And I love watching football, rather. I know it's hard. I need to lose a wee bit of weight. Do you exercise? Well, I've got a 4-year-old, so yeah. Whenever there's not a game on, I'm up at the park or we're, out and about. When you've got a kid, you're chasing them all over the place, trying to make sure they don't just end. Like they're just absolutely, they're just absolute nightmares. You got to chase them all over the place. So I do chase her around. I take the dog for a walk. I'd like to join a gym again. I've not been a gym for years. I put a post on about 2-3 months ago saying I'd love to join a gym, but I've still not done it. But I'd like to join a gym. So maybe that's next on the step to try and accelerate things along. Because I do a fair bit of watching what I eat and stuff. It wouldn't bother me ever again if I never had fast food, Mackies or out like that. I've kiboshed that. Don't touch it. Chocolate crisp again, wouldn't bother me one jot if I never had them again. My thing's carbs. I think my thing's carbs. That's what I need to cut. Like I like a butty, or like a toast, or like jacket potatoes and rice and pastas and things like that. That's what I need to cut out. So that's the thing. I was skinny, then put on quite a bit of weight, and then turned into muscle. Nice. Stay Premier League, Dad. We'd be honoured if you could promote our brand. Yeah, that's great. That love it to bits. Whatever that is. Let's have a look at it. Diaper rash ointment. Bumpist. Fair play. Whoever's just set that up, well done. Stop the crisps, it's saturated. Yeah, I was going to say crisp, I'm not. I could live without crisp. I can live without crisp, I can live without chocolate. I have tea, I have cups of tea. And the sugar in tea, I don't have a lot of sugar, but, one and a half, something like that. Sugars. I'm switching more to water. I'm having lots of waters instead of your fizzy pops and cordials and stuff like that. I'm just little things that are easy, little easy switches that you can stick to. And that's what's got me the weight off so far. So I'm just hoping that if I stick to that, keep doing the right things, be a bit more sensible, it'll come off in time, hopefully. I'll be a skinny mini for summer. Skinny mini. Right, here's Kieran Tierney with the long throw, 88th minute. Everton against Arsenal, still 1-1. Everton clear it away. Pasta is good. Tuna, egg, rice, pasta. See, egg, yeah, egg. I'm a bit of a... What's the diet? Is it like a caveman diet or a keto diet? So, that was a massive chance. Who's just missed that? Oh, Marino's just had an absolute shocker. The ball came in. I don't know who puts the ball in. Is it Trossard or is it Rice? Oh, Mikel Marino's got a free header 6 yard out. It's Jorginho with the ball in. Marino with the header 6 yards out has to score. He has to get that on target. That's poor. That's really poor from Mikel Marino. But yeah, sorry, coming back to that tuna. Not a lover of tuna. I don't mind tuna, I don't mind salmon, but only very occasionally. But egg, yeah, egg, I don't mind. I'll have egg. I'll have beef. I like steak. I like chicken. I like lamb. I have a lot of meat. But I'll eat the meat just on its own, literally. Just put a little bit of fry light in, or whatever. Cook it in the pan. Or grill it if possible, and just have that seasoned. I'll have that just for tea, just like a steak seasoned, and just cut that up maybe with a bit of eggs in the morning or something like that. But I don't tend to eat breakfast. First thing I tend to eat is usually about lunchtime. Noticed a bit of chin fat coming. There's stopped fizzy drinks now. There's nothing there. That might be what it is with me then. Maybe I need to cut the fizzy drinks out altogether and get rid of the old double chin. Yeah, I'll have a go with that. Why not? That's a good idea. I'll do that. Bun paste. The best part is our paste is vegan friendly. Great, love that. Yeah, you can. I'll definitely be a brand ambassador for bun paste if you need me to. I'll do it free of charge as well, because I'm such a big advocate of the brand. Available in all good shops. I do 40 minutes cardio every gym sesh, whether it's CrossFit, treadmill or the back. Bloody hell, mate, you're putting me to shame here. Do you know what all I really want to do? And I'm not too old for it. All I want to do, I'm still in my 30s, I'm in my early 30s. All I want to do is put some of these shirts back on that I've got behind me and go and play football, go and play five-a-side. Problem is when you get into your 30s, all your mates, they've all got kids and they've all got married, same as I have. So no one's got time. No one's got time. Everyone's either working, they're doing something with the kids, they're knackered after work and they just want to have tea and go to bed. They play on the game or whatever like that, whatever their stuff is. No one's got you cannot organise. When I was about 19, 20, 21, even up to my mid-20s, you can organise a group of 10 lads to go and play football like that. Drop of a hat. If anything, you'd get overwhelmed. You'd get too many turning up. Now, you need like 6 months' notice for a game of football. So it's hard work. It's really hard work. You have a big area to use for the paste. Might need 2 tubs. Is it buy one, get one free? It's buy one. Or if it's free for a brand ambassador, I'll take it, mate. Absolutely. But yeah, it's hard graft getting people to turn up. It's hard graft getting people to turn up to five-a-sides. Thought about doing that like man v fat thing, but again, didn't really seem like it was for me. But I'd love to get back to playing five-a-side football. 2 free samples just for you. Belting. Send them to me. Inbox me and you can send it. I can't remember the last time I got to go and play golf or football without the wife telling me off. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look, I would never. I love my wife to bits, but goodness me, yeah, there's always something for you to do if you've got a bit of a break to go and play football or I say I've never played golf. That's one of the other things. I'd love to play golf. I'd love to get into golf. Even just to have a nice little walk around a nice course and just I'd love a game of that. I went on a stag do last year and they had we went and played foot golf in York. Was it York? Yeah, it was York. We went to York and we played foot golf. And that was wicked. That was really good. It was a boiling hot day. It was a bit like today, actually. Red hot, lovely day. Loads of beers. And went and played foot golf. And then went out round York after it. It was, it was a good little stag weekend, that. And I mean, people play foot golf professionally now, don't they? Professional foot golf players. We've got 15 seconds left here, and I think it's about to be done and dusted, to be honest. Everton have maybe got one chance to lump this forward into the box. Oh, he's blown up. He's blown up. He's blown up. He's blown up for full time, I think. Has he? Has he blown up? Oh, the Everton players were raging then. They were absolutely raging. No, he's going to let him take it. Oh, goodness me. The ref, there was a free kick. Oh my God, that's not a foul. Trossard he's kicked fresh air. That's not a foul. That's not a foul. And there you go, that's it, 1-1 full time. Well, there you go, Arsenal have dropped points in the title race, and that is it now, I think. I mean, if they hadn't conceded it before the game, they've pretty much conceded it with that result, you'd have to say. So, Everton won, Arsenal won. Big result for the Gunners in terms of the Premier League title race. Is that the league done and dusted? You'd have to say it looks like it now. Will Mikel Arteta be happy in that he's got some minutes into some plays, but he hasn't rested him. He's had to have Saka and Trossard and Martinelli and Timber, and they've all come onto the pitch to try and win the game. These are all players who will play in Madrid on Tuesday night, or against Madrid on Tuesday night, I should say. So it's not quite a rest for them, and it's going to be an interesting second half of the title race, or interesting second half of the weekend, I would say, now, in terms of how Liverpool do. If Liverpool win, extend the lead to 14 points, and it really does become a procession at that point, if it wasn't already. But yeah, that's the title race over and done with. Reece, I hate football. Paolo, Nottingham Forest is a bigger club than Arsenal. Caleb, the league was done in February. Arthur, and now we're down to 15th. All good. And you got Southampton, haven't you, tomorrow? You'll beat Southampton, you would think, hopefully. Beat Southampton, it's all good again. But right, listen, we need to do a vote. There's only if they're in the chat now, stay in the chat. We need to do a quick vote on what game we watch at 3:00. Right? I'm gonna end the live in 5 minutes, and we need to do a vote on which of the 3:00 kickoffs you want me to watch. Which 3:00 kickoff are we going to do watch-alongs on? Ipswich and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Relegation 6-pointer. Big game. If Ipswich were to win, they go 6 points behind Wolves with, 7 games to go. Could the race be back on for Ipswich? Could they get themselves back in it? If they were to win it, it's a must win for Ipswich. The other one is West Ham against Bournemouth. West Ham, new lease of life under Graham Potter. Bournemouth, not a great few weeks, but they've still got an outside chance of Europe. Bournemouth, could they kick on? That'll be a big game for them. And then the final one would be the derby, South Coast derby, Crystal Palace against Brighton. Crystal Palace in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They've already beaten Brighton at Brighton. This could be an opportunity for them to do the double over the big rivals. But Brighton have got European football they're thinking of. So it's a really, really big one, this. A really, really big one. We've got to have a decision on which game we go with. So let's have a vote. Let's have a vote. I don't know how I can do a vote. I can't do a vote on here. I can't do a vote. Gutted. Right. Have a look and see if we can do a vote. I can't do a vote. Right. The next name, the next suggestion in the group is the game that we're going to do. Brighton Palace. Right, fine. There you go. We'll do Brighton Palace. That's the game we're going to do. Palace against Brighton. Callum the Red, we win tomorrow. It's finito. I agree. I think it's finito, bonito anyway. But we're going to do Brighton away at Crystal Palace. FM No Casuals rigged. We'll keep an eye on the other two. That's all we can do. I do think, personally, that Ipswich and Wolves would be the better game. But I'm happy to go with Brighton and Palace. You can do a vote to narrow it down to 2 and fire between the two. I can't do a vote, mate. I can't because I'm doing it on a laptop. And my phone, I can't watch it on here. Can't watch it on here. I can't change the vote. Mate, it's the only good game there. Right. Whack in the group in the chat now. Put in the chat, seriously. Put in the chat which game you want me to watch. 1 for Ipswich and Wolves, 2 for West Ham and Bournemouth, or 3 for Palace and Brighton. 3 Palace and Brighton, 2 West Ham Bournemouth, 1 Ipswich Wolves. Put in which one you want. Right, Ipswich and Wolves is winning so far. We'll give it 30 seconds. I'm not making you watch Potter Ball. Okay, fine. Right, Kane, sling your hook. We're watching Ipswich and Wolves. Ipswich and Wolves it is. That's what we're going to watch. Done. It's done. This is rigged. Right, I'm going to end the live. I'm going to restart the live in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And we're going to have that live. We're going to watch Ipswich and Wolves. And then we'll stick around after that for Aston Villa against Forest. We'll be keeping an eye on all the other games as they go on. So we'll still have updates on Brighton and Palace. And we'll have updates on West Ham and Bournemouth. And on the Grand National as well, if you're following that. So stick with me. Big afternoon of football. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Come and join me. Make sure you're over on YouTube and you've subscribed as well. And we'll get this live in 10 minutes. Right. Thank you for watching.